Good morning, everyone, or afternoon, evening, depending on where you live and at what time you guys are watching this. Welcome. This is my newly created channel, Nobu Reacts, and it's going to be mainly a reaction channel on anime series and one-shot videos, and maybe some videos that you guys make. I'm down to do that as well. As for this video, this is going to be a reaction to the first episode of My Hero Academia, a series that was recommended to me by one of my friends. And I don't know anything about this series except for that it does involve heroes and has one of my favorite songs, You Say Run, in it. So yeah, I happened to cross a cover of that track, and I can definitely say it's become one of my favorite songs, or OSTs. But yeah, I'm very excited to see where that shows up in this anime. Uh, in regards to anime in general, I have watched a decent amount of anime, but there are definitely tons of shows that I have not watched, so I definitely wouldn't call myself an anime veteran at this point. But yeah, there's a ton of shows that I've put off watching, and I finally got around to you know getting the time to watching them, so I decided, why not record them, and maybe share my journey with you guys, and you guys can get some entertainment out of it. But yeah, that's it for me. We might as well just jump right into the reaction of My Hero Academia Episode 1, Season 1. Someone getting bullied? That was very slurred. What is that kid's power on the left there? It's like fingers were... I don't know if I'd want that superpower. Oh. Unfortunately, that is true. I really like that transition there where it was looking at the sky and it was actually like a puddle. That was really cool. Midoriya Izuku. That's a villain. I don't know why you'd want to be happy seeing a villain. I wouldn't want to be around there. These are some very unique character designs, I'll tell you that. That's that bully. The one that was bullying him earlier. It looks like they might become rivals. So he might be a villain character or a hero. This is that one superhero that I already forgot his name, but our main character was reaching out to in the opening. Back to the villain. Death Arms. The punching hero. Pretty straightforward superpower. Some of these character designs, Backdraft, I don't even know if that guy's a human or not. Or maybe just a mask. Another hero. I'm assuming he has some wood powers because of his outfit. Yep. What is going on with this guy's head? Sort of like stars. I don't want to. I'm gonna say he's the incarnation of evil. It seems a little strong there. Holy. Oh, she's enormous. Mount Lady. Yep, she stole the spotlight. So it's not all heroism. You got some oh yes. His name is Midoriya Izuku. Some of these, I have no idea how they'd be useful in everyday situations or even heroism. Bakugo Katsuki. All Might. That's the one hero's name. Is the teacher gonna step in? Why is he? Are you just gonna use explosions in class? Come on. Quirkless. So I'm assuming that means he has no superpower. Looks like he was stealing some money. This is that All Might guy. This is bad on the teacher's part to ignore such blatant bullying. Well, they say that, but I mean, they have powers and he doesn't, you know? I mean, if he says something, he's just gonna get waxed, especially with no one trying to step in and help him. He physically can't fight back. He's getting so inspired as a little kid. That's pretty awesome, I'm not gonna lie. Especially in like huge disasters, to be able to smile like that and laugh and try to, you know, comfort those around you. That's awesome. That really sucks. Is it passed down genetically, or how? Okay, so it is. That sucks. And if I remember from the beginning, they said about 80% of the people had quirks, right? That's. I mean, you would think yourself to be very unlucky to be that 20% and not have that power or have a superpower. It's pretty depressing. So you watching the video? I recognize this, starting to recognize this the theme in the background. That's the "You Say Run," just it's a sadder version. I'll talk a little bit more about that little interaction between his mom and him right there in the review, because I have something to say about that. It's a slime monster. Yeah. The villain. That was earlier stealing the money. It's All Might. I like that phrase that he says. Texas. Texas Smash. Wasn't even physical contact. So they're playing him up to be really strong then. I'm sure he's got to be. Dude. That was interesting. I like how defined they drew his shadows and stuff. Could you imagine like seeing your like someone you looked up to as like some sort of idol or like someone you dreamed to be? That would just be insane. How do you fit in those bottles? You can definitely understand where Izuku's coming from, though. You know, I mean, he's looked up to him his whole life, and I mean, he doesn't. He wants to spend more time. You know. Did he get injured in that last fight? I'm assuming that was blood. He's being pushed back and held back by just all those phrases or you know people telling him that he can't be a hero. You just gotta go for it, dude. Wow, this track at this moment, this that really hits me. Wow, that was good. Now we got the ending. I like that little trip there. Wipe away those tears. Sun's out and that star's still shining. pause it right there. Oh, there's a lot of emotions at the end there. Alright, on to the review. So we're going to jump into the review, but before that, with regards to the information gathering, I thought about taking notes during the actual showing, but I think that's going to be, I just reasoned against it because it's simply going to be too distracting from the actual visuals themselves. Even though I know a decent amount of Japanese and can understand it without the subtitles, I'm definitely going to miss a few things here and there, and especially the subtle types of dialogue that can describe a character's sort of like emotion and stuff. I really want to get as much as possible, and I want to keep my focus on the actual visuals. So instead, I'm going to go over the show afterwards, write down some notes then, and then hit you guys with the review after I'm done with that. Alrighty, on to the actual review. So I want to cover a few points. Number one, the opening, I want to cover that. Number two, the overall world, the kind of setting this is in. Number three, the main character or characters. Number four, the premise or the overall plot of the story. And number five, All Might. So, starting off with number one, the opening. I'm not going to go into detail about this simply because the things that I saw are probably going to come up later on, and I just want to let it go naturally, you know. A few things I can say are character designs are definitely unique. After I skimmed through a few of those, they're definitely special, but you know, not something you'd see in everyday shows. Another thing I liked was Midoriya reaching out to All Might, you know, trying to symbolizing that desire to be like him or be a hero like him. We saw a few flashbacks as well with him and Katsuki when they were younger and then older, and then I saw them punching at each other. I'm not going to speculate right now, I'm just going to let that play out as well. But other than that, I really liked the song. It was pretty catchy, and yeah, just a solid overall opening. Alright, number two is the world or the setting that we kind of are jumping into. We got the superpowers called quirks, and they started off in China. I have no idea how, they didn't really describe that, but it did start off or originate in China, and then, you know, the superpowers just spread somehow, and everyone got superpowers. They said about 80% of the population got superpowers, so that's a ton, and you know, it became almost a normal thing. You know, the world adjusted, and that's just what happened, you know, and here we are today. You got, you know, villains, you know, causing problems for everyday people. You know, just as how, you know, the normal world works, where we got people, you know, causing problems, people stopping them, you know, things like that, and then normal people doing their regular thing. We got that world, except for with superpowers, kind of like that. On to the next point, which is the main characters. So we got our two main characters. We got Midoriya Izuku, and we got Katsuki Bakugo. So starting off with Midoriya, his first kanji means green, and I like when they brought up his character card, or when they introduced him, he had this overall green theme where his character was written in was in green, and he had this, you know, it kind of reminds me of, I don't know if they were going for this or not, it kind of reminds me of some sort of like sprouting, kind of like spring, like a new kind of like beginning. So that's what it kind of reminded me of, you know, maybe a new superhero, that's what it's symbolizing, that something like that. And other than that, we got his ambition, sort of he wants to become a hero, he idolizes All Might, and he wants to be like All Might, but he is quirkless. So yeah, other than that, that's it for Midoriya for now. On to Katsuki Bakugo. When he was introduced, he had this orange sort of theme going about him, and it's very fitting due to the fact that his name Baku, it's very reminiscent of Bakudan, Bakuhatsu, all related to explosions and things like that. And his quirk seems to be an explosive type quirk. He seems to touch things and they blow up. And with his explosive personality and his explosive hair, you know, orange is a very good theme for him because, well, very explosive, let's just say. And he seems to be a, you know, he seems to be a jerk, a bully. He likes to talk people down. He talked the whole class down, but in particular, it seems that he likes to bully Midoriya for some reason. Maybe because he's quirkless. Although I'm not sure why you would want to. Well, I can see, someone quirkless, trying to become as good as you. He might think of something like stuck up or something like that. I don't know. I have no idea what goes through his head, uh, but yeah, that basically sums up his character for now. We'll move on to the next point, which is the overall plot or the premise. And the overall, plot is, or the premise of the show is, can Midoriya become a hero without a quirk? And his struggles to become one. So that's what I'm assuming it is. That's what it seems to be. One interesting point that they brought up was Midoriya said something about when they got into UA. He stated something about how they got rid of some rule that said that they couldn't join unless they had a quirk or something like along those lines. And so what I'm interested in is, has someone before who didn't have a quirk become a hero, joined UA and become a hero? Someone like a Batman or someone with gadgets or something like that. Someone who was quirkless but still became a superhero. It just kind of intrigued me because I'm trying to gauge as to how realistic Midoriya's dream is, and that's one of the things I was thinking about when I was thinking about the overall plot. Okay, other than that, we got All Might. So All Might is Midoriya's idol. He looks up to him. I'm sure he's looked up to in the superhero world a lot, simply because everyone was kind of talking about him like that. It just seemed like he was some sort of like very big star in the superhero world. Even Bakugo kind of stated that he's going to defeat him or something like that. And we got a little visual of his quirk when the slime monster was running through the city, and he started off small and he kind of buffed up. So I'm assuming his quirk is something like he starts off small and he kind of buffs up, and in that state he is very powerful or something like that. I'm not exactly sure if that's the case, but that's what it seemed to be. And then another thing is, when he was flying through the air, he was bleeding from the mouth. So that could be some sort of injury from the villain that he just fought, the slime monster. Although I didn't see anything, it could have happened before that. Or I was also thinking it could be like some sort of terminal illness or something like that, and he's close to death. That could be a really interesting a plot point, but other than that, yeah, I don't have a lot more to say on All Might. I really like that last scene when he was trying to reach out, ask All Might this question, but all the people were, his past memories of people talking him down and stuff were kind of holding him back. And one of the things I wanted to go over was the fact that when his mom apologized to him, and he said in the thing, he said, "No, Mom, that's not it. I wanted you to say something else," or something like that. And I'm pretty sure he wanted his mom to encourage him to say that he can become like All Might, because her apologizing, if you put yourself in Midoriya's place, her apologizing to him sounds like, "No, you don't have a chance, and I'm sorry that you don't." It is very disheartening. Even though she had the right, maybe she wasn't thinking, straight, and she had the right disposition and things like that. She was just apologizing. She felt really bad. It just gives this overall disheartening sort of feel, and it's like, it's very depressing. Like, even the person that I look up to, that I wanted, some sort of encouragement from, is apologizing because I can't do what I dreamed of. So that's one of the things that I wanted to go over. It was, holding him back kind of from asking All Might. And I think it's not just that, people were talking him down and he was afraid of those people, but more of
I think he's afraid of All Might saying that he can't do it, you know? And he doesn't want to be told that he can't. And he's scared because that could be the last, that could be the last straw of pushing him over the edge of like, I can't do it. But he pushes himself forward, and he does end up being able to ask. So we'll see how that goes in the last one. I'm hoping that All Might does say yes, he can. But we do have a hero show, so I'm assuming he does. But other than that, an overall awesome first episode. I am very intrigued as to how this is going to pan out. I still have no idea how he is going to become a superhero. Like I said, I don't know how realistic it is or what the kind of laws of the world are yet, so we'll see. But yeah, well, thanks for stopping by. If you're feeling generous, please do leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe. That always helps me, encourages me to do better, kind of improve my things. Of course, this is my first time doing anything kind of like this, so if you guys have any sort of thoughts, any sort of preferences, or things that I could do better, please do leave me feedback in the comments. If there's anything that I miss, also please leave it in the comments. I'll definitely look them over and stuff like that, and I'll mention you guys in the next thing, anything that I did miss. So but yeah, other than that, thanks for stopping by, and see you in the next one.